VIP.
Hello YouTube Reef Aquarius. This is going to be a fun video. We're doing top 10 most active corals for your reef aquariums. All the time people ask me, hey George, what's a great active coral that I can get for my tank that's going to be easy to care for? This list is the total combination, best of both worlds, of easy to care for corals and the most active corals. Count down from 10 to 1. Here we go. Number 10, the flowerpot coral. The flowerpot coral gets its name from when its polyps extend, the tips look like a bouquet of flowers. It's not a very aggressive coral, but space should be provided between it and its other inhabitants. Its polyps can extend way beyond the skeletal base of the coral. It comes in an amazing variety of colors. It almost seems like a too good to be true coral until you try one for yourself. They have been known to be almost impossible to keep. I haven't had personal success with them, and most people don't, just due to their mystery needs. It is, though, a really awesome reef coral and has some seriously sweet movement. I'll generously keep it on this list at 10 just because of how hard it is to keep. Number 9, the CATAPHILIA Elegance Coral. It is truly one of the most unique and cool stony corals known in the reef aquarium. Its polyps are extended during the day, showing off its wide variety colored tips. With actinic lighting, its fluorescent colors are beautiful, with blues, oranges, and purples and greens. They come out, especially in the tips. The most common one that many reef aquariums have is the golden one with the purple tips. Elegance corals are great additions for beginners to expert reef aquarists. It is moderate to take care of, but it really is a sweet coral. Make sure to keep it on the sand. That's usually where they do best, and place their skeleton somewhere in the sand. This coral is super unique, and it doesn't provide as much movement as some of the other corals in this list, but it definitely deserves a spot on this list, so I put it at 9. Number 8, the Tabastria sun coral. This is a huge fan favorite, large polyp stony coral that has a skeletal base with tubes coming out of it and orange polyps. When placing it in the aquarium, it must be picked up from its underside. You should give it a moderate, steady flow with low light levels. It is one of the corals that doesn't have symbiotic algae, so it's not photosynthetic. You will need to feed it vitamin-enriched foods, such as mysis or other meaty foods that you can get at your local fish stores. And it usually won't eat or extend its polyps unless it's hungry. That's sometimes usually at night. This gorgeous but hard to care for coral earns its spot at 8. At number 7, the yellow polyp coral. This is a colonial coral with individual polyps attached to anything. They are bright yellow, and their polyps have an ability to sting other neighboring corals. Make sure you give them adequate space. They reproduce very quickly by budding off the mouths from each other. And if you feed them, they'll do great in your tank. They're very, very hardy. This is a very colorful coral and very easy to reproduce. It only gets the spot at 7 because this is such a competitive list. 6, the Galaxea Coral. Bright green is the most common, but it can be found in a variety of colors. It is a very aggressive coral in the reef aquarium, and it does need a lot of space between it and its neighbors. It will sting anything it comes in contact. The moderate flow and moderate lighting that it needs makes it a little bit harder to care for. Galaxea coral is a very cool coral, and it deserves a spot at 6. Any long tentacled or bubble tip anemone comes in 5th. I know it's technically not a coral, but anemones provide great movement, are very active for mature tanks. It can tolerate anemone fish such as any type of clownfish, which is very unique. Their usual long tentacles will create sweet movement in any tank. Their diet should consist, though, of mussels, crustaceans, or any other meaty foods. Anemones are great movement and active corals for any reef aquarium. They make the top 5. Alright, here we go. We're getting closer. Number 4, green star polyps. These are typically yellowish green to bright fluorescent green. Polyps that are connected to a rubbery purplish tissue that grows like a mat on rocks. Large colonies can create dense carpets of it. Green star polyps are very, very hardy. They can tolerate low levels of light, but if you put them in high lighting, they will be absolutely stunning. It's also a very popular soft corals for beginners. Always recommended on my list. They don't really have any type of a harsh sting, but they do grow incredibly fast, sometimes too fast for people. So it's best to isolate it on its own rock or on the sand where it can't grow onto other rocks because it might infest your tank. But that has never happened to me. Whenever I have that problem, I just frag them and sell them, so they're very easy to propagate. And they're photosynthetic. They require no feeding. Their bright color, easy care, and awesome flow puts them at 4th in this list. Alright, number 3, the plate coral, and specifically any long tentacled plate coral. These corals have such long extensions of their polyps that they're commonly mistaken for anemones. It's a solitary aggressive coral that can come in to contact and hurt other corals. Give it space. Keep in mind it often will expand because of the water that it's in, and make sure you keep it on the lower levels of your reef aquariums. Long tentacle plate corals are hardy and easy corals to care for any beginner in the hobby. This coral definitely earns the bronze. Alright, number 2, any Euphyllia. I know that's kind of a stretch, but any torch, FROGSPAWN, hammer, or bubble coral. Torch especially has long extending polyps with bright fluorescent tips. Most of these corals come in yellowish greens and sometimes purple. The bubble coral comes usually in a whitish color. Provide lots of space between these coral sweeper tentacles and other corals in your system. These are very popular corals just because of how much movement they provide for an aquarium. They're also easy to care for. They earned the silver at number 2. Number 1. The number 1 most active coral for your reef aquarium is the pulsing pom-pom Xenia. Some of you might be looking at me like I'm crazy just because it's a weed, but it is incredible. These are also colonial animals with multiple stalks, polyps attached to any type of substrate. The 8-tentacled polyp pulses or moves, and they think that it's because it's disposing of any gases or waste. It is, though, still a mystery why exactly they do that motion. Proper nutrition and lighting can influence how well these do in your aquarium. Some people can literally grow them out of their tanks, and some people just have trouble. Their beautiful colors consist of pink, purple, and blue, and their pulsing movement earned this underdog of a coral the number 1 spot. If you want to argue with me about this list, or you have any suggestions, or you feel like one coral was left out, I want to know. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed watching this video, take a second to like this video below, and also subscribe. I have lots of videos coming out. This is Coralfish 12G. George out.
Yo, VIP.